Hello guys and welcome back to our history topic, the Maya, and this is lesson 12. And in this lesson we're going to be looking at some of the Maya religious rituals. So, I'm going to start reading, and then at the end of this video I'm going to share with you the task. Priests, temples and sacrifices. We're going to find out what sacrifices were. Mayan priests were thought to receive messages from the gods. So a priest is a holy man. We still use the word priest today when we are talking particularly about Christians in the Catholic faith. They have priests. They were thought to receive messages from the gods, which they passed on to the Maya. This made priests very important people. Only the ruler was more powerful, so only the king. Priestly powers. Priests were highly educated. They could read and write and were experts in maths and astronomy. Astronomy is the study of the stars. This carving shows a priest. Take a look. That's a real carving from a Mayan temple. One of the priest's most important jobs was carrying out ceremonies to please the gods. And all religions have ceremonies, something that they do when people get together. It could be a wedding. A wedding is a religious ceremony. Getting together to pray is a religious ceremony. A funeral is a religious ceremony. So there is also ceremonies to please the gods. These ceremonies usually started with feasting, so lots of eating, dancing and music. Then offerings were made to the gods. These offerings might have been, so an offering it's kind of like a present or a gift to the gods. These offerings might have been things like food, but sometimes they included blood or even grisly human sacrifices. This word grisly is like gruesome, awful. Human sacrifices. So rather than just giving food to the gods, they would sacrifice humans. Let's take a closer look at this. I'm going to just going to change my presentation here because I want to get it in the right order. So, gruesome rituals. Gruesome is like really kind of scary and awful, like a gruesome murder. The Maya believed that they had to give offerings to the gods to keep them happy. The most extreme way of providing an offering was through human sacrifice. Usually slaves or prisoners of war. So if they had a war and they captured prisoners, they would sacrifice them. Methods of sacrifice included shooting the victim with a bow and arrow, beheading them, or removing their heart while it was still beating. Human sacrifices were quite rare. They were held to mark special occasions, like a new king coming to the throne or a new temple being built. They might have happened more often during droughts. A drought is when there isn't much rain. And famines. Famines is when there's no food, everyone is dying of hunger. As the Maya tried to make the gods happy again. They thought that if there was a drought or a famine, that the gods were unhappy with them. And if they sacrificed people, maybe then it would rain and crops would grow. Royal bloodletting rituals were another way the Maya tried to please the gods. Rulers cut their ears or tongue and offered the blood to the gods. The carving on the left shows a Maya queen communicating with a god during a bloodletting ritual. Temples in the sky. Temples were the most sacred buildings in a city-state. They were built on top of towering stepped pyramids made from huge limestone blocks. Priests used temples for rituals and sacrifices. Only priests, rulers, and the sacrificial victims, so that's the people that were going to be killed, could climb the pyramid to the temple. Everyone else had to watch the rituals from below. The temple themselves were small, but the pyramids they stood on could be enormous. The pyramids at Tikal are extremely tall. One temple there stands at 40 metres. Pyramids and temples were painted with bold colours and decorated with beautiful carvings. So let's take a look at our LO today. I understand Mayan religious rituals. Let's look at the blue writing. The Maya thought that it was an honour to take part in these rituals. So it's like as if you imagine you were chosen to do something very special at school. For example, take part in an assembly. I decided in my class I'm going to choose the best person to speak in the assembly. That would be a real honour. Or if you go to church or mosque and you are chosen to help out in a special ceremony, that's a real honour that you've been chosen for something special. And the many Maya thought that it was an honour to be sacrificed. Would you have felt the same? What do you think about these rituals? So if you were a Maya and you were chosen, how would you feel to be chosen to be sacrificed? Would you think this is amazing? I'm going to be sacrificed to the gods, or would you have a different opinion? Also, I want to know, what do you think about these sacrifice rituals, and also about the rulers who have to bloodlet their tongues? What do you think? I'd love to hear. So we're going to get rid, as usual, of speaking personally because it's too informal and as I see it. Also, well, if you ask me. But in my view, comma, and in my opinion, comma. Everything else doesn't need a comma. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your opinions about whether you would feel honoured to be sacrificed and what you think based on your beliefs about human sacrifices. Use those. I'm expecting more than 2 or 3 sentences about this, and I want you to really express your feelings and your thoughts on this matter. Okay, so I'm looking forward to reading those, and I'll see you in our next history lesson.